Hey brothers and the occasional sister. This is the last place where my dog Bruno was before he died, right here. And I miss him every day, I really do. I've come past here and I think, wow, what a beautiful boy he was and how lucky I was to have had him in my life. And man, it's so strange now because I pretty much live alone, although my son's staying with me now, which is great. Perfect timing, really. But he died there in his sleep, and I was with him the night before he died, and it really has been a feeling of huge loss for me, but at the same time, happiness and joy that he's no longer suffering and he's in a place of peace. Today's story is one that's interesting because it's to portray to you guys why I'm grateful for so many things in my life. And gratitude for me has been born from struggle and pain. And this is a story about a dentist in Bangkok down a side street. So we've got to go to Cambodia first for the story. I'm going to tell you as I go around the farm and water my plants and stuff. I was in Cambodia at the age of 27. I was with my girlfriend at the time. She was a stewardess with Lufthansa, and I got quite sick. Neither of us realised I actually had typhoid, and she went back to the mainland and left me there, and I was in a little sort of a hut, and I was in so much pain I actually broke a tooth at the back of my head, and I also had one at the front, which is now a cap, you'll see. I got back to Thailand on a bus, which literally had to fight our way back because there was 5 guys on the bus that were actually bus drivers that were robbing the bus. And that's a story in itself. I have actually told it on the other channel, I think. And finally got to get the dentist, but the dentist was down a side street. So I was paying a woman, she was actually a prostitute, I was paying her to help me while I was getting well again. She'd bring me books and medicine and different stuff, and finally she got me to a doctor, and that's when we found out that I had typhoid. I didn't have a lot of money then either. I was just a young guy travelling around, and she found this dentist down a side street, and everything was primitive. He had a pedal, I'm not making this up, a pedal, like it was a flywheel for his drill, which he pedaled, and I'd never seen such a thing before like that, and it was like quite bizarre. But anyway, here's where the story goes crazy. He had to remove the tooth that I'd broken and the rest of it, and he was going to cut the gum with a scalpel to get the pliers down deep enough to pull it out. And he started to work on me, and I said, whoa, stop there. We need to have painkiller. You can't just do this, cut me with. He said, no, all you feel is pleasure. And I said, pleasure? And then he pushed his thumb in real hard and got the scalpel and started to cut, and I could feel this pushing. And I said, that's not pleasure. And he goes, pleasure. And what he was saying was pressure. So that's how he did it. He did it by putting his thumb in. And then he got the pliers and he put his thumb in a point up there again and pushed really hard and pulled the tooth out. There was a lot of blood, and you could feel it graunching and bits breaking and shit and stuff going everywhere. But all I did feel was pressure, not pleasure. And this was actually quite mind-blowing for me because I'd never experienced anything like that before. However, the other tooth, the one in the front, which is that one there, that wasn't pleasure. That was excruciating pain. He had to drill it out to make it the right shape to put a cap on, which I've still got that very same cap today, which has lasted all those years. It's not a good one, but he said I'd get about 15 years out of it. Well, that's a hell of a lot more than 15 years. I mean, I'm 57 now, and that was 27, so what's that, 30 years? I never have felt so much pain sitting in a dentist chair in my life as I did when he drilled that. And when I said to him, I've got to have an injection, he said, no, only for old lady and young girl, not strong young man. I said, I'm not a strong young man. This is fucking killing me. I don't know if I passed out or not during that there, but I can remember the adrenaline in my body from the pain and my heart rate, it was excruciating, and one of the hardest things I think I've ever been through with as far as dentistry goes. But I came away with a real appreciation for something which we take for granted in our Western world, that we don't suffer like that, and we do have the comfort of having anaesthetic. So when I got this deep root canal done 2 days ago, I got one done. I was in the dentist chair for 2 hours. I was excited about going to the dentist, and I always am. I love going to the dentist. I enjoy it. Ever since that experience, I've always enjoyed it. You think, oh, I'd be traumatised. No, I actually think I'm going to a dentist that's got painkillers if I need them. They've got all the technology in the world. It's going to be a great experience. These people are going to care about me. The funny thing is, this particular one, I couldn't get the surgery I needed on it 3 months ago because of lockdown 3 here. We couldn't go to the dentist. Well, you could go, but they couldn't do surgery. It's part of these rules and laws. And little did I know, I had a really bad infection in there. I knew it was a bad infection, but didn't realise it was that bad. And it was ongoing. And I've had that dealt to now like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I'm feeling like 10 times better. But point being is that if you've never had a really, really bad thing physically in your life, then you don't have anything to compare it to. And people that live in third world countries can't even afford to see a dentist like I saw in Bangkok, and they'll have an infection, and eventually it will make them very, very sick, and they'll die. They'll have heart problems, or their whole life will be marred by this underlying infection. So we have to practice gratitude that we have this medical help that's available to us, because so many people in the world don't. And it's easy to forget that. Today's message is to practice gratitude and think about what it would be like for you if you lived in a place where you can't afford dental care. If you've got a phone that you're watching right now, if you've got change in your pocket, if you've got a roof over your head and you've got one meal you're eating today, then you're in a very small minority of very fortunate people. And on top of that, if you've got health care, we see America, we see the UK, but there's a huge, many people in China and India and Africa, lots of countries around the world that don't have that. And also there's people that don't have that in the country that you're in right now too. You're just not aware of it because you don't mix in those circles. New Zealand has the population of Timaru that are homeless, that are living in tents or living in cars. And this government, one of the things they said they were going to do was they were going to fix the housing crisis. Well, they haven't done that. There's a lot of people that are homeless. So, practice gratitude. And I thought I would just tell you guys a story about the dentist, because it's a funny story, really. Anything that has pain is always a little bit funny on one side, I think. Well, looking back, it's funny. I wouldn't want to go through it again today. Check on a brother and check on yourself. Make sure that you're practicing gratitude for what you've got in your life. And to Goober, if you're watching this, and also William, if you're watching this, I know you're both in hospital right now. I'm sending you some love and support. Go steady. Check on a brother. Have a great day. I mean that. Make sure, please, go and enjoy yourself. Do something that's nice for someone else, and you watch how it makes you feel so much better. Or do something for yourself for that matter too, but just enjoy yourself. Right, the tomatoes are looking pretty good, aren't they? Pretty good. I like watering plants. It's the easiest job of the day first. Next job is to walk dogs. I like that too. See ya.